Hey, come on in. Today we are going to be talking about what an authorpreneur is and why you should care. I'm going to go ahead. Hey, come on in for the sake of time and just get straight to the topic. What is an authorpreneur and why should you care? An authorpreneur is an independent author, right? An authorpreneur is an independent author. I'm going to say that one more time. An authorpreneur is an independent author. The word authorpreneur, obviously, if you haven't caught on to that yet, an authorpreneur takes both words, author and entrepreneur, marries them into one, and ta-da, you have, hey sis, yes, you did make it. What's happening? And it turns it into one word. An authorpreneur is an author who is an entrepreneur. I said that an authorpreneur is an independent author because independent authors need to be thinking like an entrepreneur. An independent author needs to be thinking like an entrepreneur. And I always say this and I'm always going to say it, if you want to sell books. And if you don't, this is not going to be for you. If you're not here to sell books, or if you're not here to turn the volume up on the message that's in your book, even if you're just sharing, even if you're putting information in the book for the sole purpose of entertainment, then entertain, right? So you have to, even while you're writing your book, write your book. I always say, write now, think later. Get the writing out, get the writing done. And then after you're done writing, after you get through that creative process, take that hat off. And so yesterday we talked about the different hats that we wear. In real life, not to say that being an authorpreneur is not real life, but for a lot of authorpreneurs, for a lot of indie authors, they have 9-to-5s. And so an authorpreneur has different hats, right? And so even I have different hats. Exactly. Right now, think later. Even I wear different hats. I'm a single mama. So I'm the head of my household. I'm a mom. I own a business. I'm a businesswoman. I network. I do all of these different things, but I like to paint. I'm a creative. I like to do videos, all of these different things that I like to do. And so that means I wear different hats. And so as an independent author, you need to know how to put on hat, your writing hat, your creative hat, and then take that off. And then put on your business hat and say, okay, I have this story idea. I've written it down. My next step is going to be what? Okay, so what's going to be your next step? Your next step is going to have your writing edited. Whether you decide to DIY your whole thing, which I do not recommend, but I get it. Finances can be tight, and especially when you're just starting out, and especially if you are someone who's like, I want to write to make money to increase my income. I am barely making it. I am living paycheck to paycheck. That is okay. You can start there. You don't have to start by spending thousands of dollars like some independent authors do. That's okay. Start where you're at. So if you're going to DIY, I still would say edit your book. There's something called the Chicago Manual of Style that you can purchase or even rent on Amazon right now. And after you get done writing, your next step would be to edit. And so as an authorpreneur, not only are you a creative, but you're a business person in the instance that you have strategy, right? You have a plan. You're not someone who is just doing it off the fly. Yes, God might have given you the story, but you're going to take that next step and make sure that you share that story with excellence, that you share that story with the mindset that you are going to turn up the volume on it because it is worth it and because you are worth it, right? We're not just doing things willy-nilly. We are leveling up, and I will get into that at some point, maybe tonight, maybe not tonight. But we're stepping it up. We have to. If you guys haven't been looking at the news and you're not aware of what's going on, and I'm not trying to instill fear, but I'm very aware of what's happening. 2020 through, I want to say, the beginning of this year, a lot of people have started writing books. A lot of people have started writing books because there was a time when we were on lockdown. Do you remember that? When we were home? That was the best time for win publications. I did so well in business 2020 because so many people were writing their stories. And I was so grateful. But oh my gosh, what? I did not get no type of assistance. What? People were looking at my tax returns and they said 2020, Miss Wynn, was your best year in business. I am so grateful. But coming off of that and seeing still how some people are struggling, and I'm like, man, if you would have, and we can't live in the past, if you would have written a book, that would have been wonderful. Or let's say, Miss Wynn, I have a book and it's just kind of not doing what I want it to do. Let's level it up. I'm of the mind that you reap what you sow. How much attention have you shown that book? How often have you shared it? And I'm gonna put myself out there and say I have books. I counted earlier. I've written about 6 or 7 books outside of like ebooks and resources and stuff like that. But even those, right? I've written about 6 or 7 books that I have not turned the volume up on. And so I'm sharing this with you because I'm in the same boat, right? Not only am I challenging you to level up along your independent author journey, along your author journey, but I'm doing the same thing for myself. I am turning up the volume on my work. And as I'm taking this journey, I'm inviting you to join me. An authorpreneur is an entrepreneur who has a strategy. An authorpreneur is an entrepreneur who is flexible, right? Because as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, I work from home. I can work from wherever. I can work from the beaches of California. I can work from the beaches of Florida. Because I'm an authorpreneur, because I'm an entrepreneur, I have that flexibility with my time and with my location. Do you want that? A lot of people do and just don't know how to get to it. You get to it by strategizing. You get to it by changing your mind. You get to it by investing in yourself. You get to it by polishing up your craft. And these different things, I'm not just saying it, but I am living it. And so as I said before, as I am growing and as I'm elevating and as I'm taking myself and my business and my author journey to the next level, I'm inviting you to join me. Real time. An entrepreneur is someone who knows their data. How well do you know your market? Let's say you want to put out a children's book. Did you know that children's books sell year round? They do. And did you know that children's books, they don't take that many words? You can maybe write less than 1,000 words and put together a children's book and see a 300% return on your investment any time of the year. In fact, I would highly recommend that if you are thinking about doing a book, that you would consider doing a children's book first, because you even if you put a little bit of effort into sharing and marketing your children's book, you will do well. You will do well. And another thing to think about as an authorpreneur is the level of risk. Publishing books is low risk. It's low risk. It's not like you're taking a gamble. This is not NFTs. This is not the stock market. This is low, extremely low risk. And so you can get in, you can start writing something tonight. You can brainstorm something tonight about what kind of book that you want to write. Aurelia, who should write books? Everybody. Everybody, anybody with an imagination is capable of writing a book. I will say it again, right now, think later. Don't let all of those what ifs cloud your mind. Don't let all of those what ifs bog you down. Well, what if nobody likes it? What if it's not good enough? Well, you don't know. You don't know. You haven't lived long enough to see. You haven't even done it. Okay? What if you haven't even written a book? Don't let those what ifs stop you. What if it does go well? What if you write a book and people like it? What if you write a book and it sells? What if you write a book and it gives you the flexibility to work from anywhere in the world? How would you feel if you wrote a children's book and you published it with some help and it made you $1 million? I don't know. The book publishing industry is a $26 billion industry. As much as you might hear on the webs about book sales declining and book sales being stagnant, listen, the book publishing industry is $26 billion. That's way more than Elon Musk is making, okay? It's $26 billion. All you got to do is get 0.1% of that. All you got to do is figure out how to get that 0.1%. 0.1% of 26 billion is 26 million. How would you feel if you had $26 million? Look, I would feel great. Okay, I would feel great, baby. I got some student loans that need to be paid off. I got some other great ideas that I could do with $26 million. It might not seem like a lot because maybe you're watching these celebrities out here and maybe you just seen that Kim Kardashian has a warehouse with over, what do they say, 20 million? She has a ton of clothes in a big warehouse just sitting there. But that's her. But instead of hating on her, instead of hating on these celebrities, why don't you align yourself to stack your money? Publishing a book can do that for you. Publishing a children's book can do that for you. Maybe it's not a children's book. Maybe it's a cookbook. Maybe it's a how-to book. Maybe it's a how-to... What's that, sis? Maybe it's a how-to, I don't know, program computers. Maybe it's I don't know, it could be anything. Shoot, any kind of book. Do your research. Get on Amazon and look at the different books that are published and ask yourself, why not you? Why couldn't you write a book like that? Why couldn't you try to make $1 million from book sales? Why couldn't you? Why couldn't you? It's a matter of mindset, right? It's a matter of what do you think? What do you think of yourself? It's a matter of strategy. Do you have a strategy? How does someone make $1 million? Chances are they have a business plan, right? And so without having a plan, you're planning to fail. And not that failure is bad, right? What is your relationship with failure? Is your relationship with failure one of toxic? Is it toxic? Does failure make you want to quit and throw in the towel? Or does failure make you want to be better? Because for me, I failed at so many things, even this year. Did y'all see that I tried to do a Kickstarter at the beginning of this year? It failed. It failed. Well, it failed. And I could have given up. I could have threw in the towel. but instead I leaned in. I said, okay, what did I learn from this? And I had to go back to the drawing board. Another failure, even before that, I want to say it was a failure. And so that's another thing. You get to define what your failure is. It might not be a failure to someone else, but it could be to you. Another failure for me was when I moved out of my dad's home, was that November? And I moved to Long Beach. We didn't stay there that long. I'm now in Texas, okay? From November, December, January, February. I was in Long Beach for 4 months before I decided to move to Texas. Now, some people might say, well, that's kind of a win situation because Texas, cost of living in Texas is a lot cheaper. But hell, I lived 15 minutes driving distance from the beach. I mean, to me, that's kind of a failure. I would have loved to live 15 minutes from the beach. And so, but I leaned in, I accepted it, and I kept moving forward. And so maybe that's some personal development that happens. Absolutely. There's a lot of personal development that goes on as an authorpreneur, as an indie author. It requires you to grow, or it makes you so uncomfortable that you retreat, right? And I would hate that for you. I would hate for you to decide today that you want to write a book and you start doing it and then you come up against a tough situation and you retreat. No. How about, what if you have a plan? What if you say, okay, I'm going to come up with a plan and I'm going to come up with some strategies and I'm going to be flexible. I know that, especially if this is something new for you, you can say, I know that this is new for me. This is a bit difficult. I'm stepping into something unknown. What if you just expected failure? What if you just expected mistakes? Man, if you already were expecting those things, that's okay. But don't let those expectations bog you down, right? Because that's no good, right? And so an authorpreneur is an entrepreneur who has a story to tell. There's someone who strategizes, who enjoys the flexibility of their time and their location. They know the data. How do I know that the book publishing industry is worth $26 billion? I know that because I'm immersed in this industry. I've been in the book publishing industry for 8 years. 8 years, that's a long time. My daughter's gonna be 8 in July. Since I graduated college in May 2014, even before then, I got my job as an editor, I want to say in March 2014, because I knew that I was graduating in May. And so my mindset was, let me go ahead and find a job, right? Because in college, they tell you, get your foot in the door. I knew that I wanted to be an author. I knew that I wanted to be a full-time author. And to me, my thought form was, well, let me find a publisher who I can work for as an editor, and maybe they will publish my book. Man, that lasted all of a year before I, was being so ambitious and taking so much of the initiative to where I was told, really, you need to step off because this is not your lane. Stay in your lane. I just wanted to help. I had noticed that business was slow and she wasn't getting the publisher I was working for wasn't getting that many clients. I thought, oh, well, maybe you can make some edits on your website. Maybe you can make do some marketing or whatever. And that did not work out. So she let me go. Kicked me to the curb. But that was the best thing that could have ever happened. That was a failure, right? That was a failure. But I did not give up. I had to keep going. I still have books to write. I still have stories to tell. And they are on the way. You can't let failure stop you. You can't let mistakes stop you. That entrepreneurial spirit says keep going. And sometimes even to your detriment, right? I know you've seen, if you have it, and if you have Netflix, I highly recommend that you watch that movie about the Fire Festival. I watched it a few times. That man was so... People say it was a scam, but I feel like he believed so much in what he was trying to do. And even though mistakes presented themselves, he had people who believed in him, and he had people who believed in his vision so much to where it was ultimately one big failure, and he put on the brakes. But man, I always think, well, what if he would have just owned the mistakes? What if he would have paid those people back or did what he could to make resolution for his gigantic, expensive mistake and try to come back better than ever? Man, that would have been so much better of a story, so much better of a movie, right? And so just food for thought. We already said what an authorpreneur is. Why should you care? Earlier, I alluded to the fact that, hey, things are hard in the world right now. Inflation, gas prices are going up. Oh my God, a lot of people are struggling with mental illness. At least that's what they want to say. A lot of people are struggling with this hatred in their hearts. A lot of people are struggling with coping with everyday life. My goodness. And for me, writing is something that creates a release for me. I journal every day, sometimes 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day, just to let these thoughts out. And so you should care about what an authorpreneur is, because maybe that's you. Maybe that's an area that you can tap into to create another income stream for your family or for yourself. Hell, maybe you're a single person and you don't have a family and you just want to create another income stream for yourself because like me, you want to pay off your student loans. Maybe like me, you want to travel more. The average author, the average female independent author makes $55,000 a year. In America, the combined family unit makes $65,000 a year. So, you mean to tell me that the combined family in the United States of America makes $65,000, but that's combined. That's two incomes, 2 people home, right? 2 people bringing in money, right? But you mean to tell me that one woman, right? So some people hate the word female. So one woman, the average woman, right? And if you're someone who knows that women tend to make less than men, come on now. The average middle. So there's some that make more and there's some that make less. But the average independent American woman makes $55,000. You mean the average woman, independent author, makes $55,000 a year? You mean she only makes 10 grand less than the average combined family unit in America? How many books is that? That's 18,000 books. That's 18,000 books. Okay? Celebrity authors sell millions of books. Celebrity authors sell 40 million books, right? I have a book now that I'm reading by Stephen Covey called The 7 Habits of a Highly Effective Person. He sold 40 million copies. That's a millionaire. And the average American woman author makes $55,000 a year. She has only sold probably 18,000 copies of her book. Why not you? Why not me? That's what I'm on. That's what I'm on. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to get to, right? Because what could that do? what could that do for you? Let's say that, maybe you don't make the 55 grand a year. Let's say you make an extra 10 grand. That's great. Especially if you're just getting started. That is wonderful. What could you do with the extra 10K this year? My God, I would be in Dubai right now. Okay? I would be coming to you from Dubai right now. Okay? You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just saying it is possible. Why not you? Why not me? What's the difference, right? What's the difference between someone who is successful at publishing books and someone who is unsuccessful? Their mindset. What? That's it? Their mindset, yeah. Their ability to commit, right? The other day, was it Monday? I said that I'm committing to coming before you every night, 7:30 p.m. Central Time, and sharing what I know, sharing my experiences about the book publishing world. And so Monday we talked about book interior. Tuesday, we talked about book cover. Today, we're talking about authorpreneurship. Tomorrow is a new day. We'll see what we talk about then. But we're going through this process together, right? Because as I've already admitted, I haven't been doing a good job about sharing my books. And that's a whole nother thing. And I might even start doing vlogs as I do what I call coming from behind the scenes. Right? I have been behind the scenes for a really long time, and it's time to cut that out. And I've challenged behind the scenes, I've challenged about 5 or 6 authors to do the same, to come from behind the scenes, right? If you want to be a speaker, speak. If you want to be an author, write. If you want to be an authorpreneur, write. And come up with a plan to make money. Come up with a plan to how you're going to make your $1 million, in the next 365 years. How are you going to make $1 million in the next 365 days? How are you going to do it? How are you going to do it? I have a book coming out that's going to tell you how we're going to do it. It's going to give you the steps on how to write a book. It's going to give you the steps on how to come up with a business plan. It's going to give you the steps on how you can take that business plan and take it to your bank to get a personal loan so that you can be a part of that statistic that says, the average female author makes $55,000. Even if you're not a female author, that's where we're coming from. Most of the people who watch me on here are women authors or are women. And I know my market, right? And so I'm just saying, this is where I'm starting. I would love it. If a year from today, you and me, we look back and say, dang, remember when on June 1st, you told everybody that we were going to rise together? And now look at us, baby. Right? That's the vision. But even in the next 365 days, I see it. I see so much growth for us. But in the next decade, right? Let's think long term. In the next decade, imagine if we start now, where we will be in the next 10 years. I just had my 32nd birthday on Sunday. In 10 years? What? And I know people say it's not an age thing, but why not start in your youth? Why not start in your youth if you're younger than 32? Heck, why not start now in your old age, in your seasoned age? Excuse me. Why not start now in your seasoned age? God willing, I pray to the Lord that you will still be with us in the next 10 years. If you started today, how much further do you think that you will be in the next 10 years? All right, okay, maybe the next 5 years. If you start today, how far can you see yourself? How far can you foresee yourself being in the next 5 years? It's worth thinking about. It's worth giving a shot. And so we will end there with that. An authorpreneur is an independent author. You are in complete control of your journey. And that can be scary, but that can be so empowering. You reap what you sow. So let's start sowing some more. Let's start sowing some more with our words. Let's start sowing some more with our minds. Let's think about what we want and only think about what we want. Let's start sowing with our, did I say with our words already? With our mind, with our words, and with our deeds. And let's see what happens. And if you are along for the ride, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know. Just say, hey, I'm ready. Let me know if you're ready or not. And if not, you better get ready, baby, or you gonna get left. Okay? And I don't want you to get left. I want you to join us. I want you to be a part of this next level authorpreneur movement. And with that said, Abilene, Texas, the great city, great West Central Texas. Friday, June 3rd, I will be hosting the Next Level Authorpreneurs Mastermind, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Click the link in the description for more information on that. I would love to see you there. If you can't make it, no worries. We will probably have more events. We will probably have more things that you can come to. Otherwise, check me out online. Every day at 7:30 p.m. Central, I am sharing on Instagram Live at MissWin_. The book that I was talking about earlier, I will link it in the description as well. Check it out, pre-order it. It's on sale. It will be available. My goal is January 13th to have it out and to have it on its way to those who pre-order. So we'll end it there tonight. You have a lot to think about. You have some things to think about tonight. And not only that, tomorrow is Thursday. Tomorrow at 8 a.m., I will be here again on Instagram Live sharing with you my writing journey. I have maybe 4 or 5 books that I want to get out before the end of the year. And so come write with me. This is me inviting you to come level up. Whether you already have a book that's already written or you're interested in writing a book and making some money and making an impact on your community, let's go. Let's do it together. This is me inviting you to join me on my journey and hoping that we can grow together, hoping that we can take this next level together, hoping that we can make millions together, hoping that we can change the future of our family together. When I win, you win, and what? We win together. Absolutely! Let's go! See you tomorrow.